Hi there, this is Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. This is the Puffin Retrofit mission, which I'm about to launch. So this is going to be adding solar panels and batteries to the Puffin science station, which is in orbit around the moon. But when I sent it up, I didn't put enough. I didn't even put nearly enough power generation on it for it to actually operate as a science base. So the point of this beast is to take inside that fairing is a whole bunch of solar panels and batteries. So, oh wow, that's a lot slower than I thought it was going to get. Oh, and I put the thrust limit. I had fiddled with the thrust limiter earlier, and I thought I'd got rid of that, but apparently not. And doing the thrust limit on one of them as I take off is not very clever. So we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to completely thrust limit everything. But I should probably go back to the VAB. Especially now that I've swapped the game over to use OpenGL instead of DirectX. And I have found that pretty much all my crashing problems have gone away, which is quite pleasant. So SAS on, throttle to maximum, off we go. Right, so this is going to operate using, well, I've thought of that pretty much immediately. I don't want to go above about 300 kph. So I'm actually having to be fairly active on the throttle to keep that in mind. I'm probably being a bit conservative. I can probably go up a little higher than that, but I do not want to go transonic because that is where the drag forces get very extreme, especially on the front, and then I suddenly get very serious drag force in the front and the rocket flips, and my ascent is being very, very shallow, which is not what I want. Trying to bring myself over without going too far. It's not too bad. I need to keep track of so many things at once. I need to keep track of that, and that. I can probably go a bit faster now. I think because I'm now above a lot of the atmosphere. Now I need to yeah. Because I'm above so much of the atmosphere now, the drag forces are less important. This is probably still going to be a very shallow profile. But it looks like I'm getting into orbit today. basically the forces on the yaw control. Right, so let's pretty much go to the horizon now. Keep an eye on the apoapsis height. You see I'm going very fast now, which I couldn't have afforded to do lower in the atmosphere. Right. I'm just deploying my fairings. I probably could have done it earlier, to be perfectly honest. Nose up a little to raise my apoapsis, which isn't going up as I would like it to. I was probably putting my periapsis height up quicker than my apoapsis height, but my apoapsis height is kind of important because that tells me whether or not I'm going out in the atmosphere. Running a bit low on fuel. Alright, so we're just going to wait till we get out of Atmo. I'm speeding up, but I'm still having to keep an eye on that because obviously there's still drag going on. But I think I'm alright. In theory, that could be taking down my apoapsis, depending on how long I have to coast, basically. Alright, let's. Okay, we'll get that roughly circular. That's pretty good. Bring up the nav ball. How much time have I got? Time to know burn, so not too bad. Maneuverability is not terrible, so I'm quite pleased with that. I technically don't have quite enough. Oh, I need to go now. I don't think I've got quite enough in my stage to go fully circular, but so long as I can get an orbit, I'm happy. Right, so I'm not quite in an orbit, so I'm going to have to use some of my transfer stage to finish off that orbit. Slightly irritating, but there you go. Still not quite there. Oh, turn their house off for some reason. Right, so I'm now in an orbit. Right, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. It's not. That's not terrible, actually. Didn't crash into that. The pod. I've actually rescued that astronaut, but I left that pod there because I when I looked at it, it didn't look like a type I recognised. So I was a little confused. I thought it was a whole new pod that I hadn't seen before, and I might be able to rescue and get something useful out of, but it doesn't look like it. It just turned out to be a Mark 1. A Mark 1 kind of standard spaceplane pod, and for some reason it just looked odd. Oh, that was pretty cool. That's pretty easy. Let's have a quick look at what that actually looks like. Smashing into the moon, I think that would not be good for our mission. Maybe we should get that. There's a node called Precise Node, which apart from anything else enables you to do adjustments well, as I understand it. There we go, that's better. That's actually quite close to the Puffin already, and I probably don't want to be that far out, but that's pretty cool. Obviously, Precise Node first off enables you to put in very precise values, because when I'm moving this around, it's not that precise. What are we at? Puffin is conveniently very close to its actual altitude. So. There we've got it. That's fine. I've already forgotten what I wanted for the Puffin's altitude. 211 as opposed to 307. 100 kilometers is a bit far. So we've got 20 minutes to play with this, so that's fine. So I can only make fairly large adjustments. And I probably shouldn't be quite so precious about it because fundamentally I don't know if I'm going to necessarily be that accurate. Okay, the game thinks it's going to take a 6-second burn, whereas my flight computer thinks it's going to be a nearly 50-second burn. So I'm going to trust the flight computer. Is what I'm going to do. So 25 seconds. Whoops, next maneuver. It's been a pretty smooth launch. For apart from forgetting to undo thrust limitation, that was actually pretty good. Yeah, I might have been able to get a more efficient flight ascent profile. I have got quite a bit of junk in the orbit at the minute, so I need to go and get rid of that. What am I doing for electricity? Doing fine. Where are we? So I want to go at 25 seconds. Well, close to 26 actually. Should remember to turn off one of the batteries, probably the one in the core itself, before heading off, just in case. So 26 seconds. Alrighty. Nice long burn. I'm wondering if I want to put out my solar panels. I think I'm going to wait. Someone tell me how accelerating I am. Accelerating so much. Accelerating what? 2-3 G at this point, I think. Right, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Ease our way in. I think the point where you start getting that kind of where when you move the maneuver node. That might be the time to say everything's fine. Yeah. So I now want. Yeah, let's go back here. Focus the view. So I've gone a little too far. Ooh, that's not helping at all. Alright, let's go and leave it there. Ooh, I have done. Ooh, it's gone wrong. Right, we'll go out. Should have been looking directly like that. Anyway, trying to work out when is going to be the best time to make any corrections. Got a lot of delta V left, so technically things like, you know, maneuver nodes way out here, about halfway, would be the thing. But I'm not going to get angles until I'm actually in the moon's SOI. Oh, but that's helpful. Let's line all those things up. Oh, I see the Puffin is also slightly off angle. But I think I'm going to go with that. Little tiny burn. I get to what? I'm just getting it to warp to the next maneuver. What I should probably do, what I think I will do, well, there's a couple of things that I should do. Okay, we're okay. I was worried about power, but I've got so much. I've possibly overdone it a little. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a thrust limitation until that node burn time comes up to something, to that 4-second mark. That's just going to make life easier for me. So instead of having to wait for like 0.1 seconds, I can, you know, wait for 2 seconds to come along on the clock. I just have to remember to put it back again. Just just means I can use the full throttle controls rather than oh, that's going to be close enough. That is going to be close enough, and then I just want to put it back again so that when I do my circularization burn, I'm going, why is the circulation burn taking 5 days? Okay. Wow, I'm actually looping around. I'm coming around, so I'm probably spending more delta V than I really need to. But I don't much care. Okay, so Just time warping. I don't know if it's still the case, but there's just been this thing where being in acceleration as you go through an SOI change is supposed to be bad for some reason. And certainly you can get very, very upset. You know, when you go through it, suddenly it'll just say, nope, you don't have any velocity at all, or you're going somewhere else, or some other weird thing's happening. Am I going around the wrong way? No, I'm not going around the wrong way. So I'm going to circularize here. Oh, there we go. At which point I'm going to be quite a ways out of the outside the orbit of the Puffin, and then it's going to be rendezvous. And I rather suspect I'm going to be doing that in the next installment. So as I set up for the circularization burn, thanks for watching. I've been Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. Please hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos. We've got actually quite a few other videos up on our channel which you may want to look at. Making sure I know when to burn. You can find us on obviously YouTube. We're also nearlyenoughdice.com and also Nearly Enough Dice on Facebook and on Twitter. And finally, until next time, reach for the stars.